vertical motion, that is one of the projectile motion, straight upward motion, when the angle of the projection is 90 degree. So vertical projection means that suppose an object is thrown vertically upward with a vertical velocity does change, that depending on the acceleration. This because the projectile acceleration under the gravity is moves. So the gravity of upward is what, that's acceleration, which is 9.81. Ignoring a resistance, once again, the gravity causes all object acceleration that accelerate at 9.81 meter per second square. For a vertical projection, in an example of using the uniformly accelerated motion, uniform acceleration, that means constant acceleration. In a vertical projection, the acceleration is constant, which is 9.81 meter per second square. Therefore, we can use the equations for uniform acceleration, that the acceleration is gravity. So use 5 equations of uniformly accelerated motion. V final is equals to V initial plus GT. Vy mean the vertical final velocity, Vy mean vertical, the vertical final velocity, and U naught Y mean the initial vertical velocity, plus G times T. G mean the acceleration of gravity, time mean the flight time. And the second equation of uniformly accelerated motion is what? Y mean vertical displacement is equals to 1 over 2 times what? The initial vertical velocity plus the final vertical velocity times T, which mean the average velocity times T. Average mean V1 plus V2 over 2 times T mean what? It gives the vertical displacement. Again, the vertical displacement is equals to the initial vertical velocity plus half of G times T squared. Also the fourth one, that is the fourth equations, the square of the final vertical velocity, that equivalent with the square of the initial vertical velocity plus twice of G times Y. And the last equation, that is vertical displacement, is equals to final vertical velocity times T minus half of gt square, where T mean the flight time in air, and Vy mean the vertical final velocity, V naught Y or U naught Y mean the vertical initial velocity, Y mean vertical displacement, and G is the acceleration due to gravity. The vertical velocity first decreases on the way up. When to be project up, the vertical velocity is decreasing, okay, to be reaching 0 at the top of the flight, at the top or at the maximum vertical displacement. The velocities, the final velocities or the final vertical velocities is 0, and then increase on the way of down, within gravity. So on a vertical projection, the direction of the vertical velocities and acceleration can be seen here. The initial velocity and on the way up must be what? Negative, because the direction is up, which is negative within gravity. In the case of gravity, when the velocity move upward, the objects move upward, the velocity magnitude is decreasing, which indicate negative within gravity, and effectively decided that the downward is positive when it is the object is moving downward within gravity G, accelerating by G. So the velocity is positive, that is accelerating. Here decelerate, vertical upward motion mean decelerating, negative acceleration, or negative what, negative acceleration or negative velocities. It decreases the velocity, become what, decrease using upward motion. Okay, thank you. Okay, vertical projection. Vertical projection mean the angle is 90 degree, and the initial projection velocity, that is let's to be assume 50 meter per second, and the projectile object is ball, golf ball, the golf ball, let to be project. Okay, here the height is what, 11.47 meter, and the time to be the upward flight is 1.53 second. The time of flight upward is 1.5. So we'll come to be change the bodies of flight bodies. Okay, ball, football. Okay, also what, the time is what, the same, and the height also the same. Let's change again. Piano, you know piano. Hey, right, what? Okay, the piano also reaches 11.47 meter within 50 meter per second, and the time to be reaching the maximum height is 1.5. And again change the voice. I project the ball vertically. Okay, also again, this is the maximum height at 11.47. that also the same time, that is 1.53 seconds. Again I project the car. Okay, the car is broken here. Also what, the maximum height, that is 14.47, and the time to be reaching the maximum height is what, the flight time 1.53 seconds. Okay, students, this is what say to be all objects can project within initial velocity with constant initial velocities of 50 meter per second. Okay, any objects, it can be reaches the same height, and it take what, the same flight time, let to be increasing within some velocity, increase the velocity from 50 to 20 meter per second, and again project the car. Okay, it reach how much it is, 2.4 seconds. It's 20.39. It increases the velocity. Okay, when to be increase the velocity, the maximum height is also what, increase the vertical height is increases. Okay, this is what are the components of velocity, the velocity component in vertical motion. Okay, in a maximum height, the magnitude of velocity is 0 and have no direction. Okay, here Okay, in upward direction, the direction of velocity is upward, and in a downward motion, the velocity direction is downward. What the acceleration component and what the acceleration direction here? Okay, in a vertical direction, the acceleration is constant, and also what, downward. So okay, negative. In upward, the motion is upward, but the acceleration is downward, which is negative, and the motion is downward, also the direction of acceleration is downward, so it's positive. Okay, this is your capacities, and to be adding a resistance. Okay, the time flight is increase, and what, the time flight is decrease, and the height is decreases, also all of the air resistance adding here, and what, okay, let to be clear the first one, and here is so 2.02. okay, without air resistance. Okay, flight time is here and the height is here, which means in when the air resistance is off, the flight time is increases, and what, the height is also increases. Okay, I come back with